Welcome to this video on evaluation in higher education. My name is Nathaniel Pickering and I'm a Senior Lecturer in Student Engagement, Evaluation and Research at Sheffield Hallam University. This content can be viewed as a standalone introduction or as part of a wider series of materials about evaluation and higher education, created by myself and my colleagues in the Directorate of Student Engagement, Evaluation and Research. You can engage with this content individually or as a group, and there will be opportunities to pause the video and reflect on or discuss what is being presented. There is also a worksheet that you can complete alongside this video. The definition of what evaluation is and its function is contested and debated. These disagreements often stem from different theoretical arguments regarding the purpose and nature of social knowledge. However, the various definitions broadly fit within two themes. Firstly, evaluations are used to establish the worth or value of something. The evaluative process is often seen as a way to exert control or power over others, and is distinguished from other forms of social inquiry because of its inherently political nature. It is also seen as part of the audit culture that aims to demonstrate value for money and is focused on outcomes. The second set of definitions revolve around issues of social justice. Evaluation is seen by some as a way to enable democratic social justice, equality, empowerment, and emancipation. This form of evaluation aims to shift the location of knowledge production and ownership to those impacted by policies or programs of change. Reflecting on your own experience and knowledge, and the definitions just presented, how would you define evaluation? Does your definition align more with establishing the worth or value of something, or with issues of social justice? Or does it combine both elements? In the book Reconceptualizing Evaluation in Higher Education, evaluation is described as a social practice that is undertaken by people within structures of power. These social practices constitute what we do in our daily lives, and within higher education can be grouped into four domains. The first domain, the national, encompasses evaluative practices that are associated with how value is attributed across higher education providers within the same nation state. Evaluation in this domain aims to develop external measures and data that assure equality and can be used for comparative purposes or rankings such as the Teaching Excellence Framework. The programmatic domain deals with policies and projects designed to change the practice or the culture of multiple higher education providers at once. Widening access policies and initiatives often operate within this domain, as policy is determined externally to institutions, but with the aim of changing the culture and behaviour of individual providers. The institutional domain encompasses the quality, review and reflective processes in place within providers. Institutional evaluative practices tend to develop in line with external requirements and happen at multiple levels of the institution, from university-wide initiatives to course reviews. It also encompasses both academic and non-academic initiatives across both the student and staff experience. This domain is becoming increasingly multifaceted, complex and challenging. Finally, the self is about evaluation that takes place when practitioners, either individually or in groups, undertake evaluation to inform, develop and improve their own practice. These four domains should not be understood as separate entities, but as social practices that are interconnected with each other. An example of this is the National Student Survey, which was conceived in the national domain to evaluate the quality of the student experience across providers, but which is now used by the other domains. In the programmatic domain, has driven changes in assessment practices across the sector. In the institutional domain, it is used extensively to make decisions about value and resource allocation. And in the self domain, it is used by academic staff through formal processes of annual quality reviews or professional development. Reflecting on your own experience and knowledge, which domain of practice are you most familiar with and why? And have you undertaken any evaluation in any of these domains? If so, which ones? The regulatory body for universities, the Office for Students, aims to put students at the centre of higher education. They want to eliminate inequality, and to do this they state the sector needs to be ambitious, prioritise and understand what works in achieving equality. The Office for Students has 4 objectives that all focus on ensuring that every student, whatever their background, has a fulfilling experience of higher education. The objectives cover participation, experience, outcomes and value for money. All providers need to monitor and undertake evaluations that establish how they are ensuring that all students with the ability can access and succeed in higher education. That each student has a high quality academic experience which leads to good outcomes and progression into employment or further study while receiving value for money. The 4 domains and the requirements placed upon providers by the Office for Students helps us understand how evaluations should be approached within the higher education environment, and provides a framework that can be used to design evaluations and contextualise where the policy, programme or initiative under evaluation is positioned. Central to all change programmes should be the people who are meant to benefit from it. Within the higher education context, these people are predominantly students. This means evaluations in higher education should be centred around students, and they should be active partners from the conception to the completion of the project. If the programme is aimed at a particular group of students, the reasons for this should be clearly articulated and justified by existing data and evidence. Next, consider which domains the policies or programmes or initiatives of change are operating in. This will help identify other key stakeholders or data sources for the evaluation, and the various levels at which change is expected to happen. What are the main objectives or outcomes of the evaluation? Or in other words, what did the programme or initiative want to achieve? Did the programme want to improve the access of underrepresented groups, or was it about improving the student experience for everyone? The framework presented here will help in the design of robust evaluations by contextualising the programme or initiative under evaluation within the higher education context. It could also be used to help create and design a theory of change. This evaluative framework is grounded within a realist approach that will help you understand not only what works for whom in what circumstances, but why it worked for that person in those circumstances. How could you use this framework to design an evaluation project? What student groups need to contribute to your evaluation? What domains is your evaluation operating in, and who are the stakeholders within those domains? What are the objectives or outcomes you are trying to achieve, and how will you measure change? At Sheffield Hallam University, we are committed to developing an evaluative mindset within our community, and the Directorate of Student Engagement, Evaluation and Research is here to support all staff in developing that mindset, with the hope that we can build robust evidence about what works and why it works, so we can create an inclusive and transformative educational experience for all of our students. The Directorate of Student Engagement, Evaluation and Research is actively supporting Hallam's work to develop an evaluative mindset. Much of this work is about helping build capacity and capability across the university among all staff at all levels. Our evaluative approach is very much based in principles of social justice. Finally, how can the Director of Student Engagement, Evaluation and Research help you or your team develop your own evaluative mindset? If you need advice, help or support about evaluation in higher education, please do not hesitate to get in contact with us. Our contact details can be found at the end of this presentation. There is also a handout that accompanies this presentation, which you can access via the Steer blog. Thank you for your time, and please leave comments below or contact us if you have any other questions. There are also links to other resources available on the Steer blog in the video description below. Thank you very much.